Yes, you're on.
Good afternoon. This is the Delaware County Interactive Gaming Revenue Authority meeting for September 18th, 2024. I call this meeting to order at approximately 2:05 p.m. Please join me and rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. At this time, we'll have a roll call from our Secretary, Ron Evans.
Okay, well, our chairman's here, Paul Johnson, our vice chair is here, Vince Frangioni. Our Francis is here, I'm here, and Andrew has been excused. And Frank Daly, our solicitor, is here.
And we have a guest, Chris, or guest.
Yassine's here. Also.
Member of the public. Thank you. All right, all of you should have received the agenda. It was provided to the public on Monday, I believe, and provided to you with a draft agenda and a final agenda on Monday. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So. Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion carried. At this time, I'll open up for public comment concerning the agenda. Is there any public comment concerning the agenda? We have none. I do have a correction. I should have made this correction on the agenda. Mr. Solicitor, let me know if this is possible. A motion to approve the August minutes. That's just my error of cut and paste for 1 month to the month. Do I need to make a change on the minutes?
Yes, and you can.
Okay.
So are we approving July and August?
No,
Well,
August.
first correcting the agenda,
Yes.
first motion.
I can make the motion.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to correct the motion to approve minutes of the August 2025 district meeting.
Second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstained, motion carried. Thank you. I do apologize for that. Now I will make the motion to approve the minutes of the August 2025 district meeting.
So moved. Or second.
Questions or comments concerning the minutes for the August 2025 district meeting? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstained, motion carried.
It's on his way. He, I think he went to Branson's building. He's going back down. So he got confused.
No, we will proceed to the. We'll proceed to the treasurer's report while we're waiting for Colonel Jenkins. All of you should have received the August 2025 treasurer's report. Our treasurer is not here at this time. He may try to dial in or attempt to dial in. He's out of the country. But just to summarize, we had a deposit of $328,686.37 into the account as part of our share contribution. We had interest of $1,015.59, and our statement beginning balance was $381,623.83, and our statement ending balance is $710,721.29 as of August 31st, 2025.
August 31st. Yeah.
August 31st, 2025. And there weren't a lot of checks and payments cleared. Some of those are pending. So do I have a motion to approve the 2025 treasurer's report?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carried. Also, do I have a motion to approve Players Club of Swarthmore, also known as PCSB, the modification request for 2024 DeSigra Award to any of the 3 alternatives presented? I'll ask for the motion first.
I'm gonna move the motion. I'm gonna make the motion, but then I have an amendment to the motion.
Do I have a second to the motion?
Second.
Questions or comments?
I'd like to offer my own friendly amendment, that the motion to approve the Players Club of Swarthmore modification request for their 2024 Dizigo Award for general operating support, period. And then they can decide how they want to use it. I mean, they are the arts,
Okay,
providing the arts.
that's your motion, right?
So second, so
Yeah, that was a second.
I'm going to second that.
the friendly amendment.
Yes, this friendly amendment
To my
Any-
own motion.
to your amendment to the motion.
Right.
Any questions or comments to the amendment? So are we voting on the first motion or the amended motion?
The amended motion.
Okay. All those in favor of the amended motion? Please say, and I said questions or comments, right? I gave everyone, okay.
So we approved something before and now we're changing that?
We're letting them, we're giving them, theirs was for a specific project. It was a, elevator
Yeah.
infrastructure.
Was that-
There's
elevator
a whole
infrastructure.
letter in the material.
Yeah, it was in the packet,
Oh,
and they provided alternatives. So my motion that I put on the agenda was for them to have flexibility with any of those alternatives. They wanted us to kind of select one. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to kind of give them
Okay, I see.
some flexibility. Francis is offering a friendly amendment that gives them even more flexibility concerning the spending of their funds for the operation of the
How much is it
organization.
for?
$10,000. October 23rd, 2024, PCS Theater was awarded a grant in the amount of $10,000 for the intended purchase and installation of a limited use, limited access elevator to provide access to our Raymond W. Smith second stage. They provided 3 alternatives based on some circumstances, and I'm giving you.
So
I
we-
was
so we-
willing- I
so
was
we
willing
approved
to-
that last year. Now they're coming back and asking for the change in purpose.
No, this is what's happened. We approved them a grant towards an elevator that they wanted to install,
Last year.
right?
Okay,
But since then, and all the work they've done to plan for the elevator, they've realized it's so much more money than they had realized, that $10,000 isn't going to do them anything, and they can't raise the balance of the money, which is exorbitant. And so they've come back to us and they said, you can have the money back, or could we use it
I
for
got
other
you.
things?
okay.
And these other 3 things are to meet the need of accessibility within their facility. This is all about open access and accessibility. There are alternatives or just for the general or purposes of their organization, which provides accessible performances to the public. So I think regardless, I think the amendment would cover the goals and values of the city.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, I would just say, I mean, I completely understand that elevator construction, especially when you're retrofitting, is so expensive that I'm not surprised. In a way, it's a shame that this didn't work out. I think the friendly amendment is okay to allow them to select, but I just want to be a little bit mindful about not setting too much of a precedent, not opening the door to everybody to just come for general operating money. This is a specific case where we know the organization funded a project. I just don't want everybody.
Well, that's what most of our grants are. They're for general operating for either youth serving organizations or general operating for the arts or general operating for, I mean, we only get really specific when we talk about the EMS, like police departments doing cameras, or now we're doing municipalities doing cameras, but most nonprofits like Share, it's general operating support.
Sure, Although at the time when we started with share, they were specifically expanding to open in Delaware County.
Right, but general operating support for
Right,
their
for
Delaware
that.
County site.
Absolutely. The, it's sort of like we were saying about the other grant. I mean, I just prefer, to have a more tailored approach.
Right.
So in general, I just don't want people to sort of see breadcrumbs here, like, oh, I can apply for this and
Well,
switch it to
it's-
that.
But it's whatever our RFP says, and then it's up to us.
Sure. Well,
And maybe we shouldn't be saying
Publicly-
yes, maybe we shouldn't be saying yes to things like an elevator where we can only give them 10,000 and we know it's gonna cost 100. We'll come in for the last 10, go
well,
out and
right,
raise the
maybe we should
90,
say,
or come in for
come
the
back to
last
us for the
10.
last 10.
Right.
Sure, no, that's a good, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know if we knew where they were with that
Mhm.
project, and I also, you know, for some things it's for general operating, but I think we have set a precedent and we have expectations of organizations presenting in their applications, proposals for, projects. And so I think we're on a,
Well, in
I think we're
alignment
on
with
good-
our mission,
right.
right? So that's,
Yeah.
Right, thank you. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor of this amended motion, please say aye.
I,
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion carried. At this time, we will open it up for the solicitor's report.
Well, before the meeting, we discussed the right to know requests, and it appears to have been satisfactorily complied with. So I'm gonna think, the only question was, were all the grants on, are they on the website now?
Yeah.
So it gets a little confusing because it says that it starts January of 2022. So there's nothing from 2021, and we were trying to figure out, did we have grants in 2021?
Yeah, I mean, that should be everything.
Yeah, I thought we had the 2021 grants there before.
It should be everything from the beginning of time.
Well, time began with money flowing out apparently in January of 2022.
There were some delays, but we started in 2020. You were with me, and so was Ron. There were some delays in us getting them.
Yeah, but not a year's worth.
We're gonna have to work, before the meeting,
I
Ron.
had a whole spreadsheet. That's
Right.
all the grants from the beginning of time that I shared.
Ron and I are gonna look at the minutes from 2021, the district minutes, and if there's grants on there, we will submit them to Yassine to add to
If you
this
have an old
list.
version, that'd be nice to check that.
Yeah, so
Little-
if we just check the,
Because it took us a while, and
If
our
we-
grant periods were open for 3 months. back
I
then.
had a spreadsheet with everything listed.
Right, I'm sure it's on there, and
And you included, ooh, I'm not back at the beginning, sure. Okay.
we'll take care of that. Okay, thank you. Any unfinished business while we're waiting?
I actually do have a question. We probably have covered this before. But have we considered the idea of a multi-year grant with any organizations?
I don't recall that discussion. I think I remember you mentioning it, but I don't think we've gone into depth about.
I mean, it might create a more. The grant contract might be more involved. I mean, it might just be sort of cleaner and easier to keep doing 1 year. But just thinking about some of the organizations that we've now funded for years.
That are no longer one time, like share.
Right. Yeah, just that idea that we could put people on a capacity building road, they would know what they have to count on, for the next 3 years.
Well, I think part of the reason that we hesitated is that we would have to book the full grant in the year, which we made the commitment. And I think we were unclear about how much money were we gonna have going forward, and
Right.
did we have enough to book a full amount without showing a liability?
Interesting. So we would have to show the full amount. And so we would then perpetually have a lag. So the accounting would,
Or an assessment.
Okay.
yeah. Um, The accounting would also become more complicated.
Well, it's not that much more complicated,
Yeah.
but it does require some cash management, forward thinking,
Right, okay.
and we've been growing. So the amount of money that we
Right.
have to give out has been growing.
Is that something you would like to have us explore possibly at our next meeting? In October?
I think it's worth thinking about, but I don't know that there's, you know, extreme urgency to it.
Okay. Right. I think we're gonna get started on the grants and we could suspend if Colonel Jenkins arrives. Okay. The following are for 2025 special grants totaling $21,850 to organizations. All of these are subject to county council approval. Motion to approve a one-time special grant of $7,100 to NAMI Mainline PA for remote youth NAMI Mainline PA youth program and another youth mental program in Chester, Pennsylvania. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Comments or questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstaining? Motion carries. Do I have a motion to approve a one-time special grant of $1,250 to Darby Borough Police Department in lieu of emergency services grant for challenge coins for community engagement? Do I have a motion?
So
Do I have a second? I will second the grant. Am I allowed to do that? Someone, questions or comments? I will make a comment. I don't think this is a submission due to lateness. I think it was due to a technical issue, not on our end, but maybe on their end. The request was for 2,500 instead of 1,250. So I felt we could put it on the agenda for consideration.
So what's a challenge coin? These are coins that they're buying to give to kids?
Yeah, they're coins and they're supposed to, some police departments use kind of like a baseball card or a trading card. Some police departments use patches and some police departments use coins, and they have like the police logo or some of the specific officers on these coins. They're double-sided and they go out around the community, especially with young kids that kind of like collect things, and this is supposed to help with community building and building relationships with the police. And this is one of their activities that they feel would be great for community. And I've seen other departments do this as well. Yeah.
So this is over and above the amount that we allocated for emergency services grants, or had we not hit that cap?
We did not hit that cap.
Okay,
Because it was late. I proposed half of it instead of the full. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carried. Do I have a motion to approve a one-time special grant of $12,500 to teachers' teammates to support Delaware County school classrooms?
so moved.
Do I have a second?
second.
Questions or comments? I'll make a comment. I wasn't aware of this before. I thank Francis Sheehan for bringing this to our attention. And they do support classrooms and school districts with a high threshold of the
Mhm.
school lunch. And I think I'm wondering if, I know there's a fee. I hope that the schools will take care of the fee, and I'm hoping that maybe this allocation will help waive the fee for some of those classrooms. That's something that we can have a separate conversation with, but I just want to make that comment. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Oppose, abstain, motion carried. The following are for 2025 security camera grants totaling $14,867 to organizations, or it should be municipalities or departments. From the $37,644 initial allocation, upon approval, $22,777 is remaining. And these are also subject to county council approval. Do I have a motion to approve security camera grant of $7,367 to Borough of Sharon Hill?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstain, motion carried. Do I have a motion to approve security camera grant of $7,500 to Yaden Borough?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Questions or comments? I'll just make a comment. They did provide a quote, and the quote was above $7,500, significantly above $7,500. So this allocation will help support their purchase of all of that proposal or part of that proposal. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstain, motion carried. All right. The following are for 2025 arts and culture grants totaling $149,250 of the $150,000 allocation to organizations. These are subject to county council approval. I have an asterisk. There is one applicant that was on our list, but we didn't have sufficient information to put them on the agenda. So that could change for the October agenda.
So in other words, in order to support that organization or to support an increase in any of these grant recommendations, we need to have a motion to increase the pool from 150,000.
Yes.
Okay.
We can vote on these individually until we get to that amount and then make the motion, or can we make the motion before we vote on the grants? Mr. Solicitor. Okay.
Then I'd like to offer a motion.
I'm going to suspend the meeting at this time for a second. I'm sorry, I mean, I'm not.
I know.
I'm being considerate.
Do
No,
not
because
know.
I asked a question, I've asked a question, and I saw Colonel Jenkins on the room. I want to be cognizant of his time. So I'm gonna turn over the floor. I'm gonna, mid-motion.
Seriously, our chairman doesn't know how to be. He doesn't.
I'm gonna turn over the floor to,
Sorry. I'm
do you
gonna
step
have
out for a
to-
second? Sure,
Just
no problem.
please keep going.
Yeah.
You have a quorum.
Okay, so I'm gonna turn over the floor to Colonel Arthur L. Jenkins Jr. He's the Director of Military and Veterans Affairs Department for Delaware County. There was a proposal to fund the veterans area or the military area of within the county. And we want to hear from you because you're the expert on what's happening on the ground here in our county. And we want to be supportive of our active military reservists and veterans. And we'd like to hear from you on any recommendations that you would like to make.
Sure,
Yeah,
and
thank you.
thank you for the opportunity. Pardon for my tardiness, the invite that I accepted took me to the Foundation of America headquarters, 200 East State Street.
Oh, okay.
Floor, so
No problem.
I thought I'd be a superstar and walk over, so I had to walk back. And yeah, navigating traffic on foot is a little dicey,
Yeah.
so I guess the main thing is that I made it to you wonderful folks safely.
Right.
And appreciate the opportunity, first of all, very much so. And I thought maybe it might be instructive if, as you say, just keeping my finger on the pulse of all things Veterans Affairs over the past 2 years and 1 month, that I could maybe inform you all what I see, what feedback I receive from our veteran community, and where I think I see the greatest need as a result of that feedback and my own personal observations, if you all think that's a good start.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
All right, fantastic. So, like I said, so I've been in the position for about 2 years now. And when I started out, I thought that the most effective way, well, was a couple of things. I think it was my fourth or fifth day, I was standing outside the Veterans Affairs office, and a kind gentleman passed by and he looked up at the sign of Veterans Affairs and he said, wow, I didn't even know we had a Veterans Affairs office, and I've been living in Delaware County for 40 years. So on my fourth day, that was very instructive for me. I said, okay, whatever grand ideas I think I had, I think I need to start at the ground level. I think, just putting basic pieces of infrastructure to elevate ultimately the profile of the Department of Military and Veterans Affairs. So starting there, I went on what I would classify as a 60-day intensive listening tour, where I circled around and about the county to our American Legion posts, VFW posts, to our elected officials and their constituents, to houses of worship, any place that had veterans. I infiltrated and just solicited feedback. You all have been here longer than me. I'm just coming off active duty, and although I live here, tell me what you all say is the state of military veterans affairs regarding Delaware County. And I got a lot of feedback. Yes, 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 and many recommendations. From a demographic standpoint, we stand somewhere between 36 and 40,000 veterans here in Delaware County. I honestly think it's close to 40,000, but because there are some veterans that are simply hard to reach, those who are homeless, the mental challenges that some wrestle with. But we quote about 36,000. And what I would tell you all as well, of that 36,000, about 2/3, this is based on a study that Workforce Development did 3 years ago. About 2/3, about 24,000 of our roughly 36,000 are at least 65 years of age or older. So that's very instructive as well, because coming in the door, I thought that we might do things like, I don't know, run wind sprints around the track as a means of social bonding. But when I saw that statistic, I said, okay, well, maybe we'll walk around the track instead. And we actually do that once a month. And I'm setting up on the table to you all, just as how I initially executed. From a foundational standpoint, the Office of Military and Veterans Affairs, our state mandate is to raise awareness of and secure benefits for veterans throughout the county. We are the compensation arm. When we speak of veterans benefits, there are actually 3 tiers. There's the clinical arm, which actually my office does not do, but if I'm inquired about that, of course, I will plug them into our colleagues at either the Coatesville or Philadelphia VA Medical Center. There's the burial arm, which again, my office doesn't formally do, but if we're inquired about that, then I will plug them into the relevant parties for all things regarding burial benefits and the like. Then there's the compensation arm. That is actually what the Delaware County Department of Military Veterans Affairs is responsible for. All manner of pension, disability, the real estate tax exemption, the dependent indemnity clause. There's a score of benefits that fall under compensation. I could literally spend an hour explaining each benefit to you, but of course I won't do that. So that being the case, I was looking for trends coming in the door, and now over the past 2 years, and those benefits that I see that are tapped into the most are the real estate tax exemption and the veterans temporary assistance. That's the loan for those veterans who are suddenly in dire straits. It's $1,600, and the veteran can reapply in a year if he or she has not rebounded from their financial challenges. So that's one aspect of it. And again, foundationally, that's what the office is there for, securing benefits and issuing flags and grave markers for those individuals who come in for flags and grave markers. So that's the foundational purpose there, but it was evident to me that I should do much more beyond what is mandated of the office. So I have tethered myself to the other challenges that veterans face that might not be the province of military and veterans affairs, but I dove in just the same to make a difference. So we know, for instance, that veteran suicide is at a higher rate than the national population. That's a serious issue. This is it's actually National Suicide Prevention Month. Last week was National Veteran Suicide Prevention Week. So I've latched on to different mental health agencies in that capacity and stepped up what my office can do. As I stated at the last council meeting, I believe the most potent weapon against suicidal ideation, feelings of loneliness, isolation, and depression is a sense of community. So I've come into the Office of Military and Veterans Affairs and say, what things can I tie into veterans such that we always have an engendered sense of community? And so to that end, and I'll get to I promise, give me another 4 minutes to 3 minutes, and I'll tell you where I'm going with this. But with regard to veterans and having them feel more of a sense of bonding with each other, we recognize, 24 months I've been here, we've now recognized 32 veterans who are at least 100 years of age. We do flag raising ceremonies. Tomorrow we will raise the flag for the Air Force. Their birthday is today, but I had to make a presentation earlier today. And we do a lot of things just to engender a sense of community. So with all of that, I would say that I think where I see the greatest need within our fine veteran community when it comes to benefits, sometimes there's a veteran receiving benefits passes away and his spouse or her spouse is now suddenly in a lurch financially because the main throughput of finance to that household was the veteran's pension. So now the pension, the veteran passes away. And in some cases, if a certain financial threshold is met, that surviving spouse is eligible to receive 1/2 of what the now deceased veteran had received. It's never enough. There's still a household to run, bills to be paid, taxes and the like. So that represents a significant gap because I don't have anything in my formal budget per se where I can say, okay, understand, you have our condolences and this is what we can do for you financially so that you don't feel the sting of financial strain. I did receive the Veterans Trust Fund grant last year. I will apply again this year, the next year, where I had discretionary means to utilize some of that $15,000 to assist veterans. But again, not to plug in that gap. That was something that I received in the way of an SOS from families of veterans, particularly surviving spouses, a lot. When it comes to those veterans who are feeling sad, depressed, because they just aren't at that station of life that they would like to be in. Housing instability is really high on the list of needs as well. So I have mechanisms in place working in tandem with workforce development where we can secure housing, temporary housing for 60 days, but essentially after that, that veteran and his or her family is in the same spot that they started. So those would be the two greatest needs that I see off the top of my head.
So I think what we were curious, the reason that we wanted to have this conversation was because we had a request for funding from the Delaware County Veterans Memorial Association. And I think that not enough people on the board knew about the organization. And there, we started to have a broader discussion. I'm sorry if you said this already, Paul.
No, go ahead.
We started to have a broader discussion about, are there other veteran services organizations out there in addition to DCVMA that we should be considering? And we felt you were the expert and you would be the person who would be able to say, if we were to say, open up a certain amount of money that we were going to award to veterans serving nonprofits in the community, like, is it Trevor's, what's the name?
Travis Manning Foundation.
Yes, or groups that are serving veterans in Delaware County.
Absolutely, absolutely. And certainly there's a, in the Delaware County Veterans Memorial Association, they do great things, of course. They're about to break ground, of course, with their Veterans Hall, which I see as a movement to our community, because that will be a place for veterans to come and fellowship in all manners of capacity. So, to your point, they have done and continue to do great things. Interest of full disclosure, I sit on their board as well.
Oh, okay, I didn't realize that.
Yes. No fun about that, but to your point as well, there are a lot of organizations that definitely want to do good with 4 and 5 veterans that, could be considered. In fact, one that I think does a great service, I do believe, is Hiring for Heroes. Heard of them. So I singled them out amongst a few that I could, just because employment is always transitioning out of active duty or the reserves or even the National Guard. Employment is always sketchy at best. So we tackle that from a holistic approach. Got it, even either part-time or full-time employment, but what are the barriers that would prevent you from effectively being a good employee? Having explored that, some of the feedback that I've gotten is, well, I definitely want to work, but I've got a couple little ones at home, so childcare is an issue. I don't actually have a reliable means of transportation, so SEPTA would be a viable option. I take you all there just to say that a lot of veterans and their spouses or dependents want to work, but sometimes we've looked at the problem and the storybook ending without looking at what comes in between it. So any organization that is focused on addressing the barriers towards, I would even say, higher education or trade school is worth their weight in gold. So I know Hiring Heroes, they try to approach that from that holistic view, and that's a good thing in my humble estimation. But go ahead.
Well, there's two, we do work with Boeing around their funding for veterans organizations too, because we have a donor who specifically wants to use their fund for veterans causes. And 2 groups that they have funded in the past are, Villanova has a law clinic that's specifically for veterans. I don't know if you've ever interacted with them. And legal aid, even just regular legal aid, they often are helping people who are veterans. Because as you say, it's that all the steps along the way that are keeping the veteran from being successful.
Legal Aid is an excellent organization. Sometimes, what I get a lot of, and it's totally okay. I'll exaggerate for effect. Colonel Jenkins, I need help. Can you come fix the plumbing in my house? I'm a veteran, and I'm like, holy smokes, okay, what do I have to do? What do I know about fixing pipes in someone's home? But
there might be a plumber out there who wants to give back to veterans.
So there you go. And I set the table there just to say that, and a lot of individuals, because, if they come into the office and I'm there, I'll always talk to the veteran. And some just want to talk, but some with issues, and I'm listening, and as they're going on and on. Holy cow, this
I know.
is well beyond the scope of what we
I
do.
know.
Sounds like it's might be legal channels they might want to pursue. And in that regard, I have reached out to Rich Preble, from, Legal Aid Southeast, yeah. Good guy, really good guy, and, the two veterans resource fairs I've had since I've been in place, they've, staffed the table and really, done real good work there. I'm very high on legal aid. Glad you mentioned that, very much so.
And Rich and Legal Aid, they do the Wills for Heroes program
Yes.
with the Bar Association.
Yes.
So I've seen them do good work as well. I kind of like the idea possibly of supporting legal aid specifically with their work on veterans, right? To amplify what they're doing. I know, Colonel, you and I had a conversation about a program or an undertaking that you were doing in your office to try to identify, to try to seek out those homeless veterans, those veterans that can be difficult to track and difficult to get into the service pipeline. And I really liked, first of all, you were taking the initiative to do that. Thank you. And it occurred to me that that might be something, the kind of initiative in your office, we might be able to also support if you had it to the point where, you know, it was developed enough to need resources that you might not have in your budget. So I did want you to sort of talk a little bit about that program, but also think internally, because you know where more veterans are than we do, right? So if we can help you and legal aid amplify what you're already doing, that might be a good way for us to have impact.
Really appreciate it. It's very much so. So, about 4 weeks ago, I took part in what was referred to as a homeless veterans sweep. In tandem with the good folks from the Coast Guard Medical Center and Community Action Agency, those who deal with the homeless. We basically formed a series of teams, 3 teams that went into Chester and 3 teams that went to Upper Darby. So I was with the Upper Darby team, and we literally, to your point, I told you all that I suspect there's a good 3,000 to 4,000 veterans that I have not been able to reach out and touch in a positive way. I think I know where a lot of them are. So we went to the terminal and you see individuals there, and you know, we present ourselves in a very non-threatening way. Hey, you know, are you a veteran? And if they tell us that they are, we ask if there's some need. I'll ask if you ever applied for benefits. And I was surprised because I was a little skeptical when Community Action told me about this, but it works. It works. If you can present yourself in a helpful enough manner, they will respond. It was tough at times because that free parking garage at the top of the hill on 69th Street, we went below there. There's a lot of people sleeping there. Yeah.
Where the sewers used to be?
With a
Where the Sears used to be?
No. Not over that way. Come
By the
back.
movie theater.
Yeah. Across from, there's an IHOP, and then parallel across the street and down the road is a parking garage. Yes. But there are steps that would take you below that parking garage, and there were folks sleeping down there and, or just hanging out. Now, to be sure, these individuals, the issues they faced, it was quite clear to me that some were not in an intellectual capacity to comprehend me asking if they had ever applied for benefits. But the really cool thing about these sweep teams is they had 2 vans at the ready. You know, is there anything you need health-wise, physically or mentally? And they put them in vans and took them down to the Philadelphia VA Medical Center. That was really, really cool, I thought. To your point, Vince, yeah, you know, that's nowhere in my duty description, but I'm quite willing to take that on because anyone who has had a bird's eye view of where the office was 2 years ago to where it is now, it's a little bit different. I think by any fair assessment and calculation, the Office of Military and Veterans Affairs is in a much better place than it was before. And we we are action oriented, always willing to listen. And, yeah, I mean, to your point, it's, if I had the resources, I mean, I would continue to conduct sweeps, at least on a monthly basis, but maybe every other weekly, because again, I know they're out there. And I know there's a success story because, one individual, that was 4 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, he came on with his, Vietnam veterans cap on. And he told me, thanks for waking me up, literally, and give me the benefits that I need. And I said, well, appreciate you coming. So,
Wow, somebody who you saw on the street at the sweep posted in the office
came to the office, yeah.
to get benefits.
Yeah.
That is phenomenal.
Yeah. He was one that we got off the street, but there's power in just amplifying, the old saying, we don't know what we don't know. So, yeah, there's social media, but, the reason why I'm rarely in the office is because I'm constantly at the Legion posts, BMW posts, you have to go after this population, and they are a worthy population. And any type of initiative that will, stoke that feeling of camaraderie, I'm all for it.
Well, and you said if I had the resources, I would continue the sweeps. And I mean, I don't expect you to know this right off the top of your head, but I mean, what does that, do you have any concept of what the resources would be?
So drawing on what I observed and partook of from community action, there were like care backpacks where there was water, toiletries, feminine hygiene products for the female veterans we encountered, and even footwear and socks. And it was kind of a thing of, well, hey, I know you say you don't need any benefits at this time, but here's something for you, and maybe a little bit later you might want to apply for medical care at the VA center. Here's our card. This is where you can find me. So to be sure, I don't want to make this sound easier than it was. This was, in some cases, extensive dialogue, garnering trust from the individuals that we encountered. And to be sure, if they told us they didn't want to be bothered, we respected that. We really did. I would dare say probably more said, not this time, than did receive us, but.
Yeah, but if you keep going back,
Yeah.
people will
Get to know you.
get to know you, trust you, warm to you. And I'm not surprised in a way. It sounds like community action might already have some of the stuff. And this is in some way a little bit what I was afraid of. It sounds like maybe money isn't the biggest barrier. You need people power. You need people with the emotional resilience and intelligence to be willing and able to go into these spaces and work with these folks.
But community action may not have the people available
They
to
don't.
do that.
They don't have enough.
And
They certainly don't.
that's where we're talking resources, not just the bags per se, but the people hired and, their salaries and so forth to do that on a continual basis.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of turnover too.
Yeah.
That's the other part of the story. Why? But I know I'm talking to different people all the time.
It's a different meeting.
Yeah, well, I really appreciate your coming, because I know it's a schlep today. We're not in the courthouse. But, I would suggest as a follow-up to this conversation that we give some thought in this group to perhaps, simply setting aside a small bucket of money, whether it's 50,000 or, something like that, saying, okay, these are 5 nonprofit organizations that are in some way addressing the needs of Delaware County's veteran community in partnership with you. And because there's never going to be one organization that can solve all the problems, but you're the hub. And so what are the spokes around you? The legal services, the advocacy services, even the Memorial Association. It's not technically a service provider, but it is an educational organization. And so a lot of veterans get in touch with them and then they can send people, they're sort of a information and referral organization as well. So all of these groups, and there have to be, I think we could settle in on 4 or 5 groups that work closely with you that would be worth providing grants to. That's my suggestion for another meeting.
I have individuals too, with regard to homeless veterans. They have properties that could use a little work and they're willing to, at a very nominal fee. So they tell me, I would definitely follow up with them to make sure they, their mouth and their heart is parallel in sincerity. But if they could find funds to spruce up the property that they own, they would for a very nominal fee rented to a veteran.
It's interesting. And I just want to add one more thing. Thank you for that recommendation. The other thing that we've done with some other departments within Delco is either they have a relationship with the foundation and we're able to give to the department through the foundation, and that department can use the resources in that way. We recently gave a grant to Delco Sustainability, which is through foundation, but we also gave to the public defenders. Is that through the foundation as well? Okay, through the foundation. So there are ways that we can support your efforts directly with your department.
That would be so incredible.
Yeah.
because,
If you want to set up a fund with us, that's part of the conversation.
Yes, ma'am, I really would, because, there was one widow in particular, and I racked my brains, how legally could I help this widow in despair, and I just didn't have the wherewithals, and she understood, but, just watching the tears roll
Yeah.
down her eye, you don't even have to be a military man like me. I just felt for her, and I felt like I failed her. I must tell you all. So, if we could do that, obviously everything would be quite transparent. Sure, I do. This is the service member and their situation. All of
That's kind of what we're with the public defenders. They're helping out the litigants.
The accused.
That don't have a lot of resources. It may just be bus fare for them to get to their work so they can meet with their probation officer, or it could be a suit for them to wear, or a dress shirt for them to wear at an interview or at court. So it's kind of like just basic needs, or helping to supplement basic needs.
that's where it is. I guess I wasn't supposed to, but I can't tell you all how much I spent out of my own pocket, just $50 gift cards to Acme for some of the veterans to get groceries, because I honestly didn't have any other way to help and support. Like I told them I would, and I accepted the transition.
Well, that shows your generosity.
Yes,
Your personal
yes,
generosity.
but you shouldn't have to do.
Well, I know I've been helped a lot along the way. I endured some sledgehammers going from private to colonel, so anything that I can do to give back, I'll fight back.
Well, yeah, if you could send, I think you have mine and Francis's emails. If you can send us some organizations, we'll look into that, the public defenders kind of model that we can send back to you, and we can start talking about this next month.
Is that done in tandem with the budget office? Because that's how they did it for the Veterans Trust Fund. They set up it was an account strictly for my $15,000 with the Veterans Trust Fund.
Okay.
That's how it was run. Is it similar in this case?
No, it's, so we've done this for the sustainability group. We did it for the EMS fund that Dr. Taylor raised the funds. They flow through us and we pay the bills of the ambulance companies. The health department is establishing a fund with us now. And it's a conversation you want to have with Barbara O'Malley. that you have an interest in this, it came up in this meeting.
Mhm.
And we can, I know we sent a sample document over, an agreement over to Laura Werner, and we can send you the same. It's a simple agreement that, I mean, we ultimately have the responsibility for the funds. So if something really goes awry, the funds sit at the foundation, but we, that hasn't happened before.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Francis, it would allow the department to also raise other outside money.
Absolutely.
So I mean, in addition to potentially creating the program and accepting a grant from DeSigra, once the fund is established, you could go and raise money from other
From
private
other funds.
individuals and, you know,
Or the fund
Pico
that
next
we
year.
hold from the donor who
whomever.
has an interest in.
So for long-term planning in the office,
Mhm.
it's probably worth looking.
You don't want to use it to supplement taxpayer dollars that are already committed, obviously, but because the community has an obligation to support your program, but it does allow you to access other funds, so. We can have that conversation.
Sure. I know you all have got business to tend to.
Mid motion.
Yes. But I really thank you all for the opportunity because, as you can see, I am all in taking care of our family members, otherwise known as our veteran community here at Delco. And, I won't let you good folks down.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for your help. Thank you.
Good to see you again.
You as well. Thank you, Vince. I'll see Vince all the time. Thank you very much. Okay, Sean, I see you all the time. Yes.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me. All right, I am going to get out you all's way.
Okay. Now, mid motion,
I'll take care.
resume your motion, Francis.
So.
Francis was in the middle of a motion. We're,
Yeah, I'm trying
We're-
to.
I'll read it again.
Paul was rudely interrupting Francis.
The following are for 2025 arts and culture grants totaling $149,250 of $150,000 allocation to 18 organizations. These are also subject to county council approval. And I have an asterisk, one more applicant will be considered with additional information. So
So we said,
Francis was making a motion to increase the allocation.
From $150,000 to up to $161,750, which would allow for $10,000 to the outstanding applicant and an increase to one of these motions that I'd like to make.
so
Where,
you added.
wait, I gotta ask a question. to the
Sorry.
solicitor. No, I'm sorry, please.
You got
excuse me.
that.
Is, we don't fall under de minimis, obligations, correct? Like, if like a municipality,
De minimis applies to everybody,
so can we change the allocation of this meeting?
appears de minimis to me.
So, no, I'm just asking, you added 15,000 to the 149?
No.
She did very precise math.
So what was your number again?
I added to the original $150,000 pool for arts and culture grants in this year to increase it to up to $161,750.
Because the current allocation is 149,250.
Oh,
So in order to,
But no, it's okay. It's
he
okay,
was
keep
just, he
going.
wasn't following, so I
I
was.
know, but he
No,
also
yeah.
wasn't writing the number down. So
I got the number.
Did you?
Thanks for the repeat of it. But yeah, I got it right the first time, surprisingly enough. Okay, I'll take it for what it is.
Okay, so we have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
Questions or comments?
No, except I didn't double check the math.
Okay.
Sorry.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstained, motion carried. Okay, now we'll,
Chair, I'm
Yes.
sorry to be rude, but I have an
You do.
airplane going to Ireland.
Oh, yeah.
I assured my wife that I would be home at 3 o'clock. I
Okay.
would always get over by 3 o'clock.
All right, we have another lawyer that can supplement you a little bit, and I think he knows Robert's Rules of Order reasonably well.
Can I come?
Yeah.
Can you put me in
Take-
your
take-
suitcase?
yeah.
Oh.
Thank you, Mr. Solicitor.
Have a
Yes,
wonderful time.
enjoy,
Thank you.
enjoy,
We're
sir.
going to celebrate my wife's birthday.
Oh,
Oh, so jealous.
Thank you, Mr. Jacket.
Oh,
oh, yeah, you-
Thank you. Again, I apologize.
oh, no problem.
The length of this meeting is a bit unprecedented.
We'll
Yeah.
try not to get into trouble.
All right, we ready?
Not gonna get in trouble.
Okay.
Thank you.
Motion to approve grant of $10,000, shouldn't be double dollar signs, to CMP Radio Foundation 3.
Second.
Am I making a motion? I'm asking for a motion.
Motion.
Oh, so moved.
I think the chair usually asks for a motion. Correct?
I don't know, you
Yes.
said motion.
You asked for a
I'm
motion,
asking
it's
for a
fine.
motion.
Yeah.
So moved.
Second,
See, I don't get an apology.
I'll second, I'll
Sorry.
second.
questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion carried. Do I have a motion to approve grant of $10,000 to Historic Lansdowne Theater Corporation?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Questions or comments?
Thank God they finally did it.
All right. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion carried. Motion to approve grant of $10,000 to Media Arts Council.
So,
Do I have a second?
Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye. 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 Opposed, abstained, motion carried. Do I have a motion to approve a grant of $2,250 to Rose Tree Pops Orchestra?
so moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstained, motion carried. Do I have a motion to approve grant of $6,750 to Lansdowne Economic Development Corporation?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Questions or comments?
Yeah, that was sort of, oh,
So important.
yeah, they're good.
Can I amend the motion can I offer a friendly amendment to increase them to 10,000?
So I will make a comment before, well, you have a motion on the floor. We have a second to amend your, amendment.
Who made the motion?
I,
So you have to accept my friendly amendment. You don't have to.
I will accept.
Okay,
All those in favor of the amendment?
So the
Say
amendment
aye.
is to raise it to 10,000?
yeah. Yes.
It's just we're not we're voting on the,
We're voting on the motion to approve the grant because he made the motion and he
wait,
accepted my
we're
friendly
voting-
amendment.
aren't we voting on the ability of you to make the,
No,
we're,
anybody can make an amendment to any of
Okay.
these.
all right,
Right.
so it's been seconded. So I should open up the questions and comments now before we vote on it.
Yeah.
Okay. Questions or comments before we vote on the amendment?
So the amendment is raised to $10,000.
Yes.
We're voting on.
I will make a comment. I think this, as well as some other ones, I don't have it in front of me, but there were recommendations based on different amounts, and I blended this one together. So this is the consensus of the people that voted on this recommendation.
Well,
So
it's
just,
not the consensus, it's the average, and not everybody voted.
True.
I'm just making a statement. It may not be the average. I mean, it is the average. It may not be the consensus.
Right.
But sometimes on some of them, there are 2 versus 2.
No, and this is my,
This was 2 versus 1. Maybe it was 2 versus 2. but
Yeah, I
go
don't
ahead.
know.
this is, I mean, I'll take responsibility here. I was not timely and I know this organization and support their work. So I mean, I would be comfortable going higher. And I'm sorry, that was me.
Any other questions or comments?
I just think that between the Lansdowne Economic Development Corporation, which they do their whole arts event, they've supported the development of the utility works. They've worked hand in hand with the Lansdowne Theater. I just think between them and the theater and utility works, you've got this troika of organizations that have, people actually go to Lansdowne now.
Yeah.
I mean, who knew
That's-
10, 15 years ago? And I think it's really used arts to drive that community. There are now a couple of new restaurants there. I mean, it's very impressive, and the Economic Development Corporation has been really at the
Yeah.
center of all that.
100%.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstained, motion carried. Motion to approve grant of $10,000 to Delaware County Historical Society. I'm sorry, do I have a motion? Yes.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstained, motion carried. Motion to approve grant of $9,500 to Masi Lago Universe.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Questions or comments?
They're wonderful. If you've ever seen the girls and boys perform, they're phenomenal.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oppose, abstain, motion carried. Do I have a motion to approve grant of $10,000 to CCATC? I believe that's the right acronym,
This is Tara Jones' group, right?
the CAP Center.
Yeah, so
Interesting.
moved.
Do I have a second? Questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstained. Motion to approve grant of $7,500 to UDAECF.
I don't know where the C came from.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong.
Uncle Barbara, you want the
That's
invitation?
okay, that's okay, we don't know who you're talking about. I would like to make well,
Well, you-
there has to be a motion on the floor first.
Yes, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second. Questions or comments?
Would somebody like to offer a friendly amendment to my motion
You can make a.
to make it 10,000? I would like
I'll
to,
offer the friendly amendment to make it 10,000.
yeah.
We've been giving them 10,000 every year.
You're making the friendly amendment.
And I accept his friendly amendment. I'm grateful for his friendly amendment.
Grateful for the friendly amendment. Questions or comments? So this one was also a blend.
No, which,
I had 2 for 5,000, 2 for 10,000. So I was trying to do what was best for putting an item on the agenda where I felt that we can get it approved. So I'm just making that.
no, and again, I apologize for putting you in that position, but we've been giving these guys 10,000. They're a good organization. I think it's worthy, so, yeah.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor of the amended amount? We're doing that correctly, right, Vince?
Yeah.
Okay. Of $10,000 to the UDAEF
EF, AEF.
instead of CF. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose, abstain, motion carried. Motion to approve grant of $10,000 to Operation Look Forward.
Moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstain, motion carried. Do I have a motion to approve grant of $7,500 to Kelly Music for Life?
Oh, so moved.
Do I have a second?
moved.
Second.
Yes.
Right. Questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstain, motion carried. Do I have a motion to approve grant of $10,000 to Cades?
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstain, motion carried. Do I have a motion to approve grant of $7,500 to Park Avenue Community Center?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstain. Motion to approve grant of $10,000 to Musicopia Delaware County operations.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried. Do I have a motion to approve grant of $6,250 to Borough of Sharon Hill, care of CHACC? That's their Arts and Cultural Commission.
Yeah, so moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried. Do I have a motion to approve grant of $7,000 to Delaware County Youth Orchestra?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried. Do I have a motion to approve grant of $5,000 to Delaware Symphony?
Spell check.
Symphony.
It's pretty fun.
Do I have to change that?
No.
Okay. Because I'm saying it verbally.
Yeah.
Symphony. Do I have a motion?
Uh,
Do I have a second? Questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Do I have a motion to approve grant of $10,000 to Hedge Grove Theater?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstained, motion carried. Do I have a motion to allocate, and I think we're good with the friendly amendment of the arts and culture grants for now. If we have to come back in October, that may have, if we vote on the full amount for that organization, we may have to.
No, you have 10,000 left.
No, because we,
Oh, that's right. We upped the
You
other
add-
one too.
land sale.
Yeah, you're right.
So we'll address that
You're right.
if it gets to that.
So you have 7,500 left.
Right. Right, do I have a motion to allocate up to $250,000 for food and household product security grant category with a maximum amount of $17,500 per grantee?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Questions or comments?
Just, we recently gave,
Choose some food security. This does not include them. Those are special grants.
right, and those organizations would not
No.
be able to apply for this.
No, I don't see them being able to apply for this. We can discuss that. I'm open to discussion for that.
I'm sorry, say that again.
So we had a few select organizations that we
Oh,
provided
for
special
general,
grant
like
for.
share.
Yes, and
And Murphy.
Murphy's and Boys and Girls Club and Chester
Youth soccer.
Soccer, which was for food insecurity. I
So
believe.
did we already pass this motion? Because
We're
discussing it.
we're discussing it.
Because what we could do is up the maximum and invite those groups to be part of this.
Well, no, we don't need them. They've already been awarded. His question was, are they ineligible for applying for this category?
Yes, we usually say if you,
Right,
within the last year, if you've gotten another grant, then no.
But I'm
So-
open,
But it brings up the question. I think it has been more than a year since we gave money to share. So are we saying to share? Come back for a special grant of $25,000 to us, or you have to submit to this and your maximum is 17,500.
no, we've already voted on share.
Last month.
It just needs to, yeah, I
Oh,
think,
then no, I don't.
I think they,
yeah, the reason.
that needs to be voted on by county council.
Right. The reason I'm asking is because we do have this practice, but also we've really stepped up for share. They get,
They got 50,000.
Because they
And-
serve the whole county.
right, and we also stepped up, for Murphy's,
Four.
which I think makes a lot of sense. And we're stepping up here. I mean, very few of our grants, 17.5
Big.
is big. And so it's all good. I mean, there's nothing bad about it. I'm sure all of the organizations that are eligible to apply are gonna be very happy to ask for 17.5. It's just that as a relative matter, when we were only giving 10 to the other organizations, the bigger gifts to Murphy's and Share were even bigger proportionally. Does that make sense?
Well, I would say, I think it makes sense for Sheriff because they do serve the whole county. They're at the locust area.
Sure.
I do think that Murphy's really should be with all the other food banks in the county because they're serving a particular geographic area. We were helping them at a point where they had a capital need, they had a building
Yes.
issue. It was unique. But for general operating support for your ongoing food bank work, that's where we're inviting Medium Food Bank and Loaves of Fishes and Chester East Side Ministries and City Team and Murphy's and any of the other food banks in the county that are serving a particular geographic area. And if we say, well, Murphy's is serving more people than Loaves of Fishes, then they're grand. But maybe that's one of the questions we ask in the RFP. How many people do you serve a year?
I think we should do that because,
Some are not as active as others,
right, and
or have a higher need community.
19082, the
Sure.
zip code where Murphy's is,
Sure, absolutely. They do wonderful work.
and it's incredibly dense. I mean, it's not just the level of poverty, but
Yeah.
the density of it. It's by far the most dense.
We have
zip code.
we have a policy that they're not to apply within the same year, but I'd like to make a motion to because of the food insecurity issue this year with everything going on at the federal level. Now I'm hearing that SNAP recipients might have to give up their personal information to Washington DC. I'm not opposed to waiving that policy, but the other organizations would have to come up front, and if we have money remaining, we could provide an additional allocation to some of the ones that already received special grants for food insecurity. So
when-
I'll make that motion. I don't know if if I need to repeat it or if there's a second to my motion.
So we gave to Murphy's. That was a big grant, 25,000.
We gave the Murphys,
Right,
we
in
gave
August.
to,
In August.
we gave to,
Just
Boys
side.
Chester East
Chester
Side,
East Side, Boys and Girls
Share.
Club of Chester, and did we give to the Chester?
oh, and the Penn
Soccer.
State Extension Master Gardeners Program.
Did we give the Chester's soccer program?
Just for Upland Youth Soccer.
Upland
Yes,
Youth
we
Soccer?
did.
Do you have the agenda?
Well, no, but what I do have is the list of all the grants that are posted on our website. See Chester Upland Youth Soccer.
Maybe we didn't do that. Okay,
We definitely have given.
Oh, yeah, they are. There they are. There they
in
are.
August, because I think that was one of the.
25,000
organizations you
each
gave
in
us.
August. I mean, that's, I think if I were a local food bank, I would hesitate to invite these groups to apply again. They just got 25,000.
So we have a
I feel like we've just already
That's a
not jumped the gun, but moved up the schedule for those ones that we just did in August.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I think, let's see what we get, if there's money, because what I was gonna say, I would be happy to second the motion, but
Right.
if we get the applications in, and we only get applications for $225,000, let's say, we can consider what to do with that 25
right.
at that point.
Yeah.
But I think that's a good.
Okay, I'll withdraw my motion.
okay, and one of the
But we
ones,
did vote, did we vote on, I'm sorry, excuse me,
no, go ahead.
did we vote on this?
No,
Okay, so that's
we
still
didn't
on,
vote on the 250K yet.
we had a, motion in a second.
Yes.
But we didn't
Okay,
vote.
so we're still having comments, go ahead, Francis. You were gonna say something?
No. Yeah, so,
Questions or comments? So we got to kind of sidetrack. All those in favor of that motion,
Aye.
say aye. 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 Opposed, abstaining, motion carried. Motion to authorize solicitor to place advertisement for food and household product security announcement in the Spirit newspaper on or before October 1st, 2025. Hopefully he'll be back from Ireland by then.
So.
Do I have a motion? Second, do I have a second?
Second.
Questions or comments?
That's a good point. He probably won't be back by October 1st.
He may have someone in his office that can do that.
Okay.
Questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
I,
Aye. Oppose? Abstain? Motion carried. So I know there was a discussion of, we're gonna postpone that, but there was a discussion about special grants, like what are special grants for, but we'll postpone that to October. Do we have any public comment? Yes.
Yes, I did have.
Say your name and where you live. No, just kidding. Say your name now.
Hi, this is Yassine from Vision Technologies. I did have a presentation I did want to show for just like some new advancements within Disagra. It is a little over the time, so I think we could move that maybe to October.
Yes.
Be a lot better.
And I do apologize.
Oh, it's not an issue at all.
okay.
But yeah, just I can like quickly just give you guys a kind of an agenda. It's gonna be just an overview, a mid-year evaluation, some new features I'm proposing, and my company's been working a lot recently with a tool called Power Automate. And with Power Automate, it's a natural service within Microsoft 365. And the beautiful part about it is it allows you to essentially have code and software using workflows, and you're able to add plugins without going outside of the Microsoft service. So essentially what that allows you to do is you can use it to manipulate data, send data. There's like some Azure services that add smart PDF features, and plugins from like different vendors like DocuSign or different areas. So where some of the work that you guys do on the back end can be automated and done through Power Automate because it allows you to manipulate and send data. So
Wonderful.
Also,
yeah,
also,
but new responsibilities.
yes, also, can we get you to speak about this?
Sure.
Agenda?
Yeah.
So, are you going?
No,
So also the county is providing a conduit, I guess, or system to allow us to upload our agendas. And Sean Rush the county will give a quick snippet.
Yeah.
But I've asked Yassine to go to that meeting, which will require an additional responsibility. And we may need to look at making an adjustment to his payment for an additional responsibility. Yes.
So I'm Sean Rush. I'm the AV technician for Delaware County. And I've been heading up the process of transitioning the county from Granicus for an agenda management software service to Civic Plus, which is a different kind of agenda management and software service. Ideally, the idea is behind all this to have all of the boards and commissions, all of there to be centrally located on the county website and one particular place so everyone can find them and they're not in a million different places and a million different web pages all over the place. It's just trying to make things a little bit more clear and kind of more easily readable for the citizen. Yassine has been participating in some of those trainings, particularly on how to create agendas and where you weren't in the minutes training today. But I just, yeah, I will send that to you later, but it's just kind of some things that have been happening. It's similar to what Granicus, we've been using with Granicus for the council system. So it's a little bit more work, a lot more administrative work, particularly like that. Yassine is just gonna have to log in somewhere and just kind of add all the things that need to be going into the agenda. He can create that packet, send that out to all of you guys, make any changes, and then post it onto the website. So there's gonna be a little bit more workflow that he's gonna have to do, but there's some other things.
And also when he posts that agenda, then the clerk's office will have a copy.
Yeah,
Because you know how I have to, right now I have to, when I make the agenda, I have to send it to Sean, Yassine, and the clerk.
right.
She prints it out or makes it available for people to see it publicly. Sometimes I think they put it on the county council
Literally,
boards.
we put it on the county council.
Although I thought I saw a sign if you want the agenda come to the clerk's
Yeah,
office?
sometimes they post it there.
And sometimes they print. it.
Yeah.
Okay, so this might streamline it where the agendas would just go to Yassine. He would post it on our website, post it on Granicus, and then I guess automatically the county could access that agenda.
Yeah, so,
And if she wants to, if the clerk's office wants to print it out,
yeah,
they could print it out and
Yeah.
post it.
we could talk about that.
Okay.
So just to kind of be clear, is Yassine gonna be making the agenda for you guys, or are you gonna be making the agenda?
I'll
Or
be
you-
making the agenda for the next 3 months,
Okay,
4 months technically.
gotcha. Okay, so you need to just make sure you have your Civic Plus account up and ready and start doing some of your homework, that I sent out to you the other day. You too,
Yeah, can you do me a favor
what's that?
and make sure that Liam
Uh-huh,
from my office?
I think you did.
Okay,
I'll check.
well, just double check and make sure, because Liam is gonna be instrumental in a lot of this.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
All right, and then it'll go to someone else in January.
great. Assuming that person wants to continue this,
Okay.
unless they want to reinvent the wheel.
Any other public comment? Authority comments?
I do have one quick question, sorry.
Yes.
We got another, letter or proposal or inquiry from the public defender's office. And he had emailed me and said that he
He's
spoke to you.
waiting to find out some more, and that would be on the October agenda.
Oh, okay, so
Yeah,
he wasn't
I spoke with him.
expecting it,
No,
he
October
knows,
agenda.
okay,
it got to me too late.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough, I just, those guys, their programs are very, very good, so.
He's trying to cobble some funding from
Well,
different
that's the
sources
thing,
together
he's, yeah.
to replace what is not being funded by DC. Any other authority comments? Longest meeting in our history, but it was a good meeting.
Yeah.
Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned at 3:31. Wow.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay,
One
and we're
line.
clear.
One line.
You know, is this thing